Folks, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone here and out there. This is the January 27th meeting of the Town of Canandaigua Planning Board, and let's see, I think everybody knows everybody. The only new addition to some of you people might be Jay Palermo, our recently appointed alternate member, but the rest of the board is intact. We rolled over from last year, so we keep on keeping on. We're going to follow the agendas published. It's not too bad tonight. Try to get through it in a really short period of time. I think most of you know the protocol as far as addressing the board. When your item on the agenda comes up, please come up to the podium and give us your name and address the board directly, and then we will either comment, questions, and then I'll open it up to the public, any comments or questions they may have, and we'll go from there. First is the privilege of the floor. Is anyone here or in virtual land want to address the board regarding an item that is not on the agenda tonight? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the agenda. There were no legal notices required to be published for this meeting because what public meetings we have are continuations. There's no new public hearings, so no legal notice was required. Let's move on to the first item on the agenda, CPN 2024-117. I guess also partnered with 2026-005. Nixon Peabody, Mr. Lusk representing a property at 2061 County Route 8. Is that?
That's the original.
That's the original, right? So.
And then the county route off County Route 8 is the Catalpa Acres property adjacent. There is no.
Okay, and that's in your resubmission, I assume that's
yes.
Okay. So tell us what's happened since the last we saw you.
Well, we as I think we said at the last meeting, and my application's here, and I'm perfectly happy to have the neighbors review it. We said that we had come to an agreement with our neighboring landowner. We were finalizing the lease agreement. That lease agreement was finalized and signed, and the engineering for the project site was completed after that lease was signed, and so all that was submitted. Again, it's basically, and again, I want to be summary for you. It's the exact same project, 120-foot tower on the adjacent property. Remember, we wanted to tuck it in and amongst the trees. Mm-hmm. If you're able to pull up the plan, same project, same purpose, same problem that we're solving. We were just able, as I think the board originally suggested, could we get on to that adjacent property? There's no microphone, so you can see we worked with the landowner to locate it again.
It's got a mind of its own.
You're doing this. We're trying to get close. So we were able to place it amongst the trees and far enough in that essentially the tower and the compound are surrounded in all directions with the trees. We provided the site, the photos and the simulations. Again, I don't want to bore you with it's the same tower, same compound. Again, just relocated onto the adjacent parcel that was originally unavailable to us, but became available.
Okay. So this recent application or reapplication is something that has to go through the referral process, county, ECB, ag, all that. So as a result, tonight, I guess we are looking for the continuation of the hearing, and I guess the only boilerplate or the only issue, I guess, is we have two applications going, or we have one application going.
No, so there are definitely two applications. There's the original application, and there are two completely separate applications, although they look similar, and this is a continuation of culmination, if you will, of what was begun over a year ago. The original will be continued and the shot clock extended until such time as this board can vote on granting special use permit for the new application. They're two separate parcels, so they need to be new, completely separate applications with completely separate procedures. We're really doing a lot over, but this is a different application. It's a different parcel. So they'll have to go through the referral process. You'll have to declare your intent to be lead agency under seeker. This coordinated review, I'm assuming.
I believe you're the only agency granting approval.
Oh, well, there you go. So declare your. Oh, we don't need to declare the intent to be lead agency. Oh, okay then.
Yeah, because that would push it out another 30 days. Yeah, so if we don't,
Yeah. But it needs to be referred to the
Oh, yeah.
county planning board. Notifications need to be sent. I don't know if that's been done. This isn't the actual public hearing because the application came in without enough time for no advertisement and notices to go out. So the public hearing will take place on the date to which you adjourn this matter. And my assumption is that it needs to be the first meeting in March, based on the county planning board time clock, but I'm not certain of that.
well, I
It
think
is
we're,
referred to the February.
It was, that was already referred.
So we'll get the. Okay.
We were-
Then
Do you
keep
remember the date for Forgot
It's like the 10th
the time?
or 11th,
Oh.
someplace there.
Okay, so you could do the second meeting in February. If that works for this board.
that's, yeah, I think what we were shooting from. And with the assumption that all the information will be in by the 17th, but it's in now, so. But I think to give the referral agencies the time to respond, I think we have to shoot for the 24th. So we would be continuing both the original application and the new application and extending the shot clock on the old application. Is there a shot clock on the new application?
There is, but it's not yet. It's 150 days.
Oh,
Some people would argue that they're related, and because we were here, we'll just extend the shot clock on the original for the chill. I think does it make sense till the end of February to allow the process to follow, and the shot clock will concur that the shot clock isn't yet an issue on the new application. But they are sort of attached. Again, I want to state on the record, as we've said previously, there is an existing lease and an existing application for the adjacent parcel. We will withdraw that application, assuming that the board, if and when the board approves the new location, and the appeals period for challenging any such approval is granted. Our hope here is to only get one, but we won't terminate the lease until we know we have an approved site. But we've agreed on the record that we would terminate the lease.
I wouldn't think you need two towers.
Oh, rest assured, one has been hard enough.
Okay. All right, does the board have any questions on the procedure? It's more procedurally tonight.
I just have a question about it's two parcels because of the egress to the site. Is it the access to the second point, or is it?
So this one is,
Chris.
this is a novel situation. It's two parcels because Verizon got a lease on parcel number one, which is parcel with barns and the farmhouse immediately to the north.
Okay.
And then during this process, which, it's a cell tower, there's a lot of resident neighbor input. Verizon and its engineers have redesigned the project on the first application twice, based on planning board and neighbor comments to move it over towards where you see it. And during that time, the owner of the parcel to the south here purchased the parcel to the north and said, I'd prefer if you didn't have a cell tower in the middle of the land I just bought. Why don't you put it in these trees on my existing parcel? And everyone said, that sounds a lot better.
Okay, Jay? Anybody else on the board? No questions? All right, so in front of us tonight, and I assume you looked at the wording of this, both these continuation resolution. In fact, I think Eric provided, right? So we have two continuation resolutions in front of us. Let's take them separately. I'll make a motion that we continue the original application CPN 24-117 regarding a single stage site plan and special use permit in the AR2 district on County Route 8 to February 24th. And our public meeting on the 24th. And the shot clock would be extended to the same date, Mr. Lusk, or we make it the day after?
Yeah, it's
I'm
fine.
gonna do the end of Jan, or end of February.
End of February?
So
And then we'll
you
be-
send it, I don't have the letter yet.
228 is fine by me.
Okay. Let the record show that the applicant did extend the shot clock to the 28th of February. But the resolution to extend the application would be to the 24th, our meeting on the 24th. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, further discussion on that. Resolution is not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, someone want to take the continuation of the new and improved site plan and special use permit?
I'll make that motion to continue 26005 to the February 24th. meeting.
Okay, got a motion? Second, from Tim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Kristen, do you have any idea when the engineering comments will be available for this in town? I don't want us to, ideally, they wouldn't come out February 20th and then I've heard.
Sure, yeah, I did speak with MRV about it the other day, so they are.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
You folks have any, I'm sorry, I didn't call on you. You understand what's happening? Okay,
Can I? Sorry.
sure. I should have called on you sooner.
No, no, I just want to make sure my understanding of it is correct because I did miss the last meeting because my house was rampant with the flu. The original application still exists, but the obligation for the board to respond has been continued. The new application exists, the obligation for the board to respond has not occurred.
Starts in 150.
Starts in 150 days. And it sounds like there's a statement on the record that the original application will be withdrawn should the second application for this particular placement be approved. Am I right?
That's our understanding.
So as I understand it, there is no statutory legal obligation for the board to respond to either application should they be considered as one or separate. My point is, Mr. Lusk made the point, which is, I admit the point that I came to the meeting with today, which is if they're one application, I want to make sure that there is no argument for
They're not-
Verizon to make that because the board did not act, the approval has been given.
So
And
for
it's
the
not like
record,
it's covered.
Mr. Lusk stated that he agrees that they're not related for purposes of combining the shot clock.
Okay,
Correct, that's clear, just for the record, if it's not, if it wasn't previously clear.
that was my only question.
No,
Yeah,
thank you.
question.
Yeah, and I guess as far as the original application, where we were with that was location number 3, I think. That's where that was left. 3, yeah. That was behind the barn, which the current owner was not that enamored with and asked that he moved.
Well, that was the site, number 3,
Right,
we're talking about on this.
that's the last location we talked about on that application.
Original.
Now we're in a new application, the old location number 4, now location number 1 as far as this application is concerned. And that's in Nolens. So I think I got votes on both the continuations, so I think we're done. That, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Neighbors, check with Kristen the day of the 24th, make sure that there's something hasn't happened. So you
Yes.
don't come out if you don't have to.
Absolutely.
Although you're also welcome.
Okay, the next application is CPN 2025-144. The Vargas property on Gulf Road. And it's a continuation of a site plan approval. Excuse me, a site plan to be approved, subject to our discussions this evening. And Yeah, at the last meeting, I think there was no representatives. We have Mrs. Vargas tonight, right? Welcome. Understand you're representing yourself. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your property? Would you please come to the podium, excuse me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
5983 Golf Road, building a residential home.
Okay. And this was reviewed and I think approved by the board back in oh gosh, that was
24.
2024, yeah. Yeah, it was November 6th, 2024. So the time had run out on your approval, it was
Right.
conditionally approved. And you were required to reapply, which you did. And it's essentially the same plan that we saw then. And that approval was subject to about 9 conditions, of which I've been told by Kristen that 3 of them have been met. And I guess the only thing that was the topic of discussion, as I recall in reading the minutes, was there was a property owner, adjacent property owner, the Irelands, who were concerned about the runoff from the property. I think we've spent quite a bit of time talking about it. And I think we came to a resolution that was reflected in our approval, including the condition that prior to my signing the plans, that the stormwater system be designed to manage the impacts of a 2-year design storm. And that was to be reviewed and approved by our town code officer. And apparently that was done and it has been met. So we're left with the conditions as listed in the proposed resolution in front of you. And do I have any discussion from the board on the application? Yeah, all the referrals were done back in 24. The Ag Committee, ECB, I think a lot of that was discussed and considered as part of the approval back then. I think the only new comment we got was from Jim Fletcher. He apparently put the pipe in of the driveway. He did, okay.
Yes.
Because he had mentioned back then that the highway crew would be doing that. And the water line easement, we talked quite a bit about that. It runs through the property. And had the soil stabilization surety been submitted? I think it was submitted and approved by the town.
It'll have to be re-reviewed and approved by the town.
It is in this current, the latest.
Probably look very,
condition.
very similar, but
Okay.
updated pricing.
All right, I think pretty well covers it. Does anyone in the audience here or out there have any questions from the planning board regarding this application?
I have a question, I guess, for code enforcement. Do you need updated, redated survey and plans from Marks Engineering?
Wasn't the old spot.
I know, but my question is, I'm pretty sure you need redated plans.
I think so. To be clear though, I'd have to review it for each lot. I don't,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I don't know the answer to
Okay, but just be aware that it might be a comment that needs to be addressed. It's not a big deal.
But the plan we're approving tonight is last revised November 6th, 2024.
Yes.
Okay. Just see for type 2, right? Type 2 and the site plan, if you want to roll them together, be my guest.
Yeah, I'll make an approval to approve. CPN 2025-144 5983 Golf Road. Seeker resolution type 2 action. And the site plan with, I show 6 conditions still on it. For approval.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay, get a motion second. We have the park and rec fee included. I'm not sure if code had any further comments. We can leave the condition in, but I don't think there was anything else that they were looking for in this resubmission, but leave it in there. Okay, I got a motion, a second for both the seeker and the site plan. Further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Do I get a copy of the conditions?
Yes,
Here you go.
well,
But the official version will come from Kristen.
Okay.
okay,
I have marked all over it so people can see my horrible handwriting.
super, that one.
I didn't even see that.
Night.
Good night.
Unfurl
All
it.
right, moving on, 2025 147. Marks Engineering, front and center, Logan. 3385 County Route 16. Site plan for tear down and rebuild of a single family dwelling in the RLD district. Marks Engineers represented by Logan Rock. Yes.
Yep. Good evening.
Hi, Logan.
So tear down rebuild of existing structure. Brand new house, different location of the garage. Tear down of the existing pool, rebuilding a new pool. Kind of balancing the cut and fill with that. Reattaching to the existing sanitary line that's to the east. Reconnecting to the gas, water, severing, then reattaching. Instead of having the roundabout, we are keeping the existing curb cut, but we're just going direct to the garage, having a turnaround parking area. And then reestablishing that area that was once parking to introduce more landscaping trees. No variances needed for this. I don't have the landscape plan in front of me, but it was submitted. It did come with shoreline guideline report.
Quite a ways away from the shoreline.
What's that?
It's quite a ways away from.
Yeah, it is, but the property does have lakefront, so we wrote one anyway.
See the lake can see you.
Yeah, I mean, there, down below, there is like a substantial buffer of trees, so it kind of sits up on a plateau that's kind of right by the road. We have introduced stormwater management practices for the impervious surfaces. And I think that's about it as far as site plan goes. I'm open to questions if you have any.
I only had one. I didn't read on your plan. Is where you're gonna drain the pool to.
I don't think we have that in there. Imagine it's gonna be to the north. There's a swale.
It just can't go to the lake. That's the only thing. It's not
Right.
allowed to drain to the lake.
I don't know that much about that aspect.
All right.
I could do research and find out more of the correct way to do it. If you have
Yeah,
any
as long as
suggestions.
the code says it can't drain to the lake.
Right.
That's, want to make sure that just doesn't.
Well, I mean, there's quite a bit of a buffer
Yeah.
between the house and the lake, so
Mhm.
if,
Yeah.
even if it blew out, it would be absorbed by that giant field.
Yeah.
Before it even got to the lake, so I'm not sure if that's any security measure that you can take, or do you want
Maybe
something?
just an acknowledgement though,
Sure,
that it doesn't go to the
I
lake.
can add a note saying that,
Yeah.
and he put in the event of draining the pool, it will not be
Yeah. Go to.
drained to the lake.
So we'll have a condition that the note shall be added to the plans.
Yes.
That in the event of draining the pool, it will be, all runoff will be directed away from the lake.
Yeah.
Got that?
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
instead of on the code side, can we say direct discharge?
Yeah, that's,
Cause if you direct
Yeah.
it downhill east, it's directed towards the lake.
Yeah.
From a code standard.
that's good enough.
I don't understand really.
Would you repeat this one?
It's no direct discharge to Canandaigua
Okay.
instead of just discharge.
Oh,
Is it an in-ground pool?
Yes.
So I know there's, in other townships, I've seen them put a direct sanitary line into the sewer of the house. Since it is an in-ground pool and all that plumbing goes to the house for all the pumps and jets. So if it was okay with the sewer department going right into,
Plummet right into the
Right, the sewer
sewer
line.
ladder.
now we're staying away from the lake completely.
I think that's a great idea.
Here, I can't remember, so.
There were all.
Yes.
So sketch.
Well, it sounds like a great idea, but it's not allowed, then we're not
It's
gonna do it.
infiltration of the a great degree, yeah.
We'll stick with the initial no.
yeah, it's not gonna all get green and.
Okay, did you say that there's no trees being removed at all?
Not that I know of. I think maybe there's a small hedge that was there.
Okay,
But
I know there was a question that came up from the ECB and I
well,
think,
I know that our landscaping plan has more than enough to compensate for that.
I agree, you've,
We've introduced
Yeah,
more
a few.
than that what is there.
that, Charlie Brown configuration down the lower left, it almost looks like a tree, but I think there was a question, I think Code brought it up, what is that?
Be like the,
It looks like, a dirt ball, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's a cluster of many trees, so
Okay,
that block that we use is
Yeah.
just overlaid multiple times, so
Okay. and it'll stay.
yeah,
states.
yeah, and everything along that property line is staying.
Okay.
This new word.
Brennan did the shoreline guideline statement. I assume the board read that.
Yes.
I guess the question of Adams Drive. You're showing I think a page, book and page number for the easement.
Yeah.
And that's filed and, okay. When I went out there to go around the property, the lower part of Adams was chained off. I guess there are people that live down there that use that side of Adams, but
The deeders are on Zoom if they want to answer that portion of the question of the access and if anyone else has access down to the lake from that drive.
No, that's us.
Okay.
That's our property down there. We put the plastic fence up.
it was, like a plastic chain. It was
Chain.
yeah, yep, got you.
We used to get a lot of delivery trucks stuck down there.
Well, I guess having two Adams lanes, that makes it confusing. Yeah, I could see why.
Yep.
So nobody else has access, so that easement essentially is to yourself? I mean,
Yes.
okay,
Sorry about the echo. Too many things going here.
Probably came with the property, may have accessed
yeah, it made it,
another cottage back different time.
okay. That takes care of my question on the easement. Again, the ECB had question about the tree removal, if any. They were complimentary of your using native species in your landscaping. They had suggested possibly using geothermal for the new house. That's your prerogative, but it's something to consider. And then also, of course, any lighting that be dark sky compliant. County Planning Board found this application to be exempt from any of their reviews, which was strange, but being it's on a county road.
Right.
Ag Committee affirmed there's no loss of farmland. And County Highway said if you encroach in the right of way at all, you have to get a permit. Jim Fletcher just assumed that the water service was gonna be the same. You'd be picking it up and you may need a permit from him. I think the reconnection for the sewer also will require a reconnection permit from the county. Code had some comments regarding the floodplain, how it was designated. And, but I think we have a condition in there that, that code,
I didn't see any updated. plans.
Okay, you just need the floodplain elevation.
Just take a look at my comments.
Okay.
There's quite a few in there for
Okay.
soil erosion control. Also.
Gotcha.
Just little.
Yeah, little tweaks, sure.
okay, and that's a condition of the resolution, so you'd have to
Yep.
meet that before signing the plans. You did supply the elevation. It's a very nice looking home.
Thank you.
Stormwater management, you've got the infiltration trench in the back, so all your downspouts will
Yep,
come around and down, and it's
everything's
just
underground.
just
and then
below
there'll be
the
a
pool there. Yep. at the
pop-up
bottom of the
emitter.
slope.
Yep.
Okay. Do we need a town maintenance agreement for the storm sewer? Being it's a private storm sewer for
Yeah.
one property.
Why don't we make it a condition? If we don't, then let's not do it.
Okay.
I mean, it's not over 20,000.
Let's make it a condition and the code enforcement officer
Okay.
can waive it.
Okay.
I got a boilerplate.
Yeah,
Just in case anything goes wrong.
Gotcha.
You are
Okay. Your driveway will be asphalt, I assume, the same as the existing driveway,
Yes.
Yes.
and got no response from the watershed council or the fire department. And that's all I've got, and the reviewing agencies have. Anything else from the board? Anybody in the audience would like to address the board regarding this application? If not, it seems pretty cut and dry. Well, let's move on then. Again, type 2 seeker. Site plan, someone wanna bundle it?
Make a motion to bundle type 2 and the single stage site plan approval for CPN 2025-147 with 15.
No, your numbering got out of whack on. Yeah. On both this and the findings.
It connected to the last.
It's 6.
Continues your list.
7 plus 2.
7 plus 2 years.
I'll second.
Okay, so we got 9 conditions that go with the site plan approval. Further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carried.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks, Logan. Thanks. Thanks, Dieters. Good luck.
Thank you.
I think I have the next one too.
Yeah.
You're on the next one too.
Wow.
Busy night.
Just a second. Your findings got out of whack too, so. Take care of that. For that.
Oh, Airport Road.
It's the landscaping facility.
Okay, CPN
Wow.
2025-148. Airport Road, the Snook property, if I recall.
Yep.
Asking for is this the first extension?
First extension.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's right, you had to reapply.
Exactly, and then we're waiting on the JD for the wetland delineation, and that hasn't come back yet to submit to the town to complete the conditions for this approval. So
Okay, so how much longer do you think that'll be?
I talked to the wetland delineation company. They did it back in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
They're have the exhibits and are about to submit, I guess. They have not submitted yet, but I don't know how long the turnaround is gonna be from review to approval by the other agencies.
Okay,
This one, I do, and the answer is is however long it takes. And the DEC has been fairly clear politely that we don't know how long it's gonna take.
Yeah.
They're doing this for the first time, so
I know this is not the only extension that's predicated on the DEC.
I think you're probably gonna see a few more. I think the DEC is trying its best.
I kind of wanted to discuss that tonight about, I know we only have a limited number of extensions. Is there a way to change the language to say?
Let's not worry
upon
about it
approval
tonight.
of-
Let's
let's address that.
Yeah, address it
Okay.
if it becomes a big issue.
Fair enough.
All right, so we've got the request, we've got the resolution. Any further discussion by the board? I assume there's no discussion from the audience. If not, somebody want to give me a motion on the first 90-day extension for the property and airport board?
I'll make that motion, Chuck. CPN 2025-148, 20-day extension.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second for discussion, if not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
good luck.
Have a nice night.
All right, next extension. Paul. 5041 County Route 16. You're asking for your first extension on this is the septic application, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you recall, there were two applications, one for the storm sewer.
Yes.
So I guess you're saying that you wanted to do them all at once?
To do them all at once, but I wanted to get the gully work done first, so if we needed access for machinery, I didn't want it driving over a septic field.
Mhm.
So I held off.
Okay. So you're well on your way with the pipe, or taking out the pipe work?
We came to an agreement on November 21st.
Oh, okay.
And because of the weather, that put the work
Take a
into
flash on it.
later this year.
Okay, so you have an agreement, so that work will be done. And I
Yes.
assume there's not an issue with that approval.
No, that's
Okay, so it's the septic system that's in front of us this evening to extend it 90 days. Board, any discussion?
We discussed it a lot last.
We did. Anybody in the audience? Okay, if not, someone want to give me a motion?
I'll make that continuation, the first 90 days. Or 5041 County Road 16.
Okay, have a second. Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
thank you.
good luck, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, the last extension we have is 2025 153, which is an extension of the final approvals as far as drawing building permits for Sunset Ridge for the first section. And Sal could not be here this evening because there was a funeral he had to attend. So if there's any question, well, Chris, why don't you explain?
So this is different than the previous two first 90-day extensions. Those are after the board has voted to approve with conditions during the time period that the applicant has a certain amount of time within which they must satisfy all those conditions and get the planning board chair's signature. Sunset Ridge has satisfied all the conditions of approval and received the planning board chair's signature on the preliminary overall and the final phase 1 subdivision and site plan. Subdivision, once the planning board chairs, the applicant files it at the county clerk's office, and it no longer the town has no further role. On site plan, they have 1 year from the date of the planning board chair's signature to obtain building permits. And for the reasons stated in Mike Murphy's email, they're asking for extension of 180 days to get that, to obtain those building permits. Town Code Section 220-72B states that 1 year after the date of the planning board chair's signature on an approved final site plan, said plan shall expire if permits have not been obtained. Upon request of the applicant, the planning board may grant individual extensions of 1 year each if, in its opinion, such extension is warranted. B2 states that the planning board shall grant the request for said extension unless they have made findings that field conditions on or around the subject property and or applicable regulations in existence at the time of the planning board vote to approve have changed significantly and to such extent that reconsideration of the site plan is warranted. Okay, so that's your standard, well, deciding whether or not to vote to grant this 180-day extension.
So you said the extension would be for a year, or is it up to a year? Or
It says a year, because there's some confusion, your cloud permit says that this is their 4th extension request. That's the distinction between pre-signature on the plans and post-signature on the plans. You can grant it for a year. My understanding is that they're planning on starting in April.
Mhm. Okay, well, I mean, that's,
Worked here.
Yes.
Can you update the board on what's happened with the property? I know that there was a stop work order at one point. Can you just walk us through what has
Brief,
happened,
yeah.
what the town involvement were?
Summarize.
Yep.
follow-up question.
Honestly, so that you don't antagonize.
So the site was granted what we call advanced site preparation, or layman's terms, a grading permit. That was is issuable prior to signatures on the final plans. That's allowed by town code. During that, the site went out of sequence as far as sequence of construction in relation to soil and erosion controls and stormwater management. As a result, stock work orders were issued. We went through several rounds with the SWIP engineer. Ultimately, it was decided to cease all operations, go through a shutdown and stabilize the site. Put me on the spot with dates, but approximately, I would say about a year ago, they achieved such shutdown on that split. The town authorized a succession of inspections, identifying that the site was in 100% stabilization. Which DEC as well as town regulates as 80% vegetative cover over the entire site. All right. Since that date, no further development has taken place. Minor movement on the site with machinery, but that's as expected with any site. And same with loading and unloading of just materials between a different project outside of our jurisdiction. So that's pretty much the background. I can give you the quick synopsis of the email I sent if you didn't see that either. Okay. So we were corrected. I did mess up in my email as far as 4th extension. This is the 1st extension. The applicant and the developer did have some extenuating circumstances outside of their control. I pointed out 3 items, 2 of which were the town's control, 1 of which was RG&E's. As you know, we had the fossil fuel ban, which was impending on December 31st, 2025. At the time prior to that, RG&E had issued the site a will serve letter for electric power. That was based off of load calculations that had fossil fuels within those residences. Subsequently, with 1240.6, which is the fossil fuel ban, possibly being implemented, RG&E had pulled that will serve letter. That led to several discussions between the developer and my office of how do we go through and move forward? Because if we need to no longer provide fossil fuels, we need to increase load, which would be a similar situation to Uptown Landing with electrical upgrades. That leads to points 2 and 3. My office was inundated with 120 new structure permits between November and December 31st of 2025. I was down a staff member to paternity leave. We were not able to substantially go through and approve those applications as substantially completed. So after several discussions with the developer, we opted not even to try for applications. Point 3 is to grant a new site development or advanced site prep. We would have had to issue a 5-acre waiver underneath our MS4 standards. It's been long-standing town policy that we do not issue a 5-acre waiver during what's called the winter months, which is September 15th through April 15th. Our policy is a little bit earlier, because, well, our springs start earlier than April 15th. But we do that so we don't shotgun a site and shock the ecosystem around it, because you're never gonna gain proper stabilization or soil erosion control management. So those are kind of the 3 points that led us to where we are today. As far as anything else, I don't want to answer for the developer. Those are the items that I know. Those are the items that I've had several conferences with.
Has there been? What was the term that you used for the board to deny? Substantial.
Field conditions on or around the subject property have changed significantly and to such extent that reconsideration of the site plan is warranted, or applicable regulations change significantly.
Let's start with the first one.
Yep. You want me to answer that for you?
Yeah, you said that they were in violation of their SWIP.
That was prior to receiving these approvals. So I'm not the board, but what I would say is that the site has not changed. From the date that these were signed, I can't read that to save my life.
2020.
Well, nothing has
So I think
changed.
Tim wants you to just assure him they resolved the SWIP issues with you.
They will resolve the SWIP issues. I can't say they have, because part of those SWIP issues is a new design stormwater management facility that they have not been able to construct because we have not issued that site preparation.
But you've approved the design.
We have not signed the MS4 approval, so I can't say yes to that, but we have
comfortable?
conditionally approved.
So one of the things we're focused on another site is making sure that the 100-year flood stormwater is channelized and goes through the stormwater management facility.
Got it.
So I just want to make sure that that's going to happen in this case.
That is not. That is not what this was granted under. This was granted under the 90% pre-development rate. You're just correct.
Requires
Yep.
that a 100-year storm go through stormwater management facility.
Correct, yes. I'm thinking of discharge with the 90%. So, yes, you are correct. I apologize. I'm thinking of that site where we're asking for higher.
Just
items.
confirm, clarify your confirmation. Their current design
They are
is
currently
gonna do what
meeting,
Tim wants.
yes, they are currently meeting all regulations.
Including the management of the 100-year storm runoff volume to
90% pre-development rates.
pre-development runoff rates.
90%, yes, which is the regulation. That's where we're getting a little confused.
Well, the receiving stream and the trailer park are my concern. Because that receiving stream is clogged. There's a roadway that goes over it. And, you know, if there is an issue with flooding, it's gonna be those folks in the trailer park that are gonna suffer. We'll try to avoid it.
Murph, in the time from when the planning board last saw this and the chairman's signature, was it determined that there is a higher amount of water that hits this property than initially calculated?
Since these were signed, no.
No. In the time from the planning board received, the planning board approved it at this meetings in 2022.
Yeah, the date is
And the
the
date the
Uh,
planning board signed it.
2022 is not these plans. I want to make that clear.
In the time between the planning board approval and the chairman's signature, was it identified that more water was hitting this site than previously?
I'd have to look to answer that comment. I'd have to look at dates, but I can.
Do you think the answer to your question is yes?
Yeah, I believe that it was determined, it was estimated that approximately 100 acres of water was hitting this property, and it was later determined that about 150 was hitting this property. In addition to that, I did go through, I took this as a great luxury of YouTube and went and listened to all of 2022 and our discussions on the topic. in those conversations, the promises that, and the agreements that were made with this board is that no additional clearing necessary would be done on this property, other than to get the road in place. And that the future owners of said property would make the decision related to what trees and things they would ask to remove, but there will be no clearing in that. Estimates right now on this 30-acre property is that we've cleared more than 30% of the property in doing so. In addition to that, there's a conversation around keeping larger trees, of which the ECB specifically requested that some hickory and some other things be kept. And obviously there are none of those. I think we've had stormwater issues downstream from here, actually, where it's been evidence that it's actually hidden away from this too or not. I know, I think it's the next.
Well, so not to cut you off, I want to be clear that, and keeping the findings in check in thought, all of those issues were from the previously approved plan set, which is no longer. This is a totally new 2022, never happened. These plans were approved in 24, 25.
Beginning of, no, Chuck signed the plans in 24, so they
24.
would have been 23.
I thought they were signed in 25.
The 19 unit.
Oh, sorry, 25, yes, it would have been approved in 24.
The 19 unit proposal that we're looking at right now is the same proposal that's been since 2020.
It is not. I will go on the record as stating it is not. Because that whole stormwater management facility was changed as a direct result of the complaints received by my office. The other issue too is the road had to be redesigned due to the sanitary sewer. Ontario County Canandaigua Lake Sewer stated they did not want the sewer line or any manholes to be within the berm of the stormwater management facility, which led to a total redesign of the site as far as stormwater, all of the utility work, and even parts of the road.
And then we'll approve that.
This board.
I think the conditions have substantially changed since the time we reviewed this and the intent of this board's move. And in a number of cases, when I contacted the town, the response was that, well, it wasn't, regardless of the intent, it wasn't placed on the plan, so therefore they were able to move forward with some of those things.
So I just want to call back, we're looking at the extension. Your comment about the trees was the previous approval. That not with these plans, because when these plans were approved, those trees were cut down. These plans were then revised, sent back to the planning board due to substantial changes, which required brand new approvals.
This is after the SWIP violations.
Correct. As well as final phase one and the redesign of the prelim overall. Okay. So, and you are correct not to go back and get caught in the weeds. There was an issue where it was within the minutes of the meeting that no trees would be cut down, but that was not included in the conditions, nor was it on the plans, which leaves my office with no substantial method for ensuring compliance.
So again, we have evidence of work being done by a developer that did not meet the intent. It slid through and then it slid through again. That's effectively what happened.
I would disagree with that. It slid through. Those items were caught by my office. That resulted in several stop work orders. They were sent back, went through a plan redesign, went back to this board, received final approvals on a new set of plans, brand new conditions. The developer met those conditions substantially, received signatures by the planning board chair, engineer, and town highway superintendent. That led to the 1-year shot clock or the shot clock for building permits. Due to these extenuating circumstances that I've identified, they were unable to meet that shot clock for building permit issuance, which has led us here.
And just to clarify, your summary that's in cloud permit, the 3 bullet points.
Yep.
If it was approved for a year, I'm reading the points and kind of like trying to categorize them. The first one with the influx of reviews. The second, we've had several meetings with the developer, so like kind of engagement, still work behind the scenes, but not ready to act on anything yet. And then winter months. So that's the three.
They're a little bit out of
categories.
order, I'll be honest with you. Item 2 should be Item 2 led into item 1 and then item 2 led into item 3, so I apologize for that.
So there were, so just to like put in context of today, we're looking at a request for an extension. There's been, the applicant has been working with the town and everyone else to try to implement it. It's just, the 1 year wasn't enough
Correct,
time.
correct.
And okay. Processing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, if NYCRR 1240.6, which is the fossil fuel ban, I'm gonna cover this up, going there, if that wasn't in there. And then subsequently pulled by New York State, we would have, construction would have started.
If this was like, yes, if this happened, if this application was before us and that, you know, regulation didn't exist, the applicant would be working towards
Correct,
doing the work.
correct. And that's, you'll see it with Uptown Landing as well. The fossil fuel ban was the same thing. I'm sure you will see the electrical capacity issues with several other projects before this board. It's items that are outside of everyone's control. It's RG&E. We have several discussions in our office each day. We get estimates from RG&E, we get several developments get will serve letters, those get pulled, they go to other projects. I'm not RG&E, so I can't speak to that, but it's not just our municipality either. As you know, all of us code officials are fairly close in this county. It is neighboring municipalities that have foundations built, but they're will serve too. So.
The requirement that the building permits be pulled for within a year,
Yes,
is that all building permits or a building permit?
all permits required, I believe it's a.
Well, in this case, it's 9 building lots and 1 open space lot, so it would be.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me, sorry. I skimmed over this part of it when I read it to you. If all permits required to begin construction have not been obtained, so it's not actually a building permit, it's site development.
Site development or building permit,
yeah.
or it depends on the project, to be honest with you. A project like this would be a site.
If it's a single family house, building.
So each individual lot will get its own building permit. Is there a permit for the road and the sewer and all that stuff as well?
Site development.
That would be the site development permit, because all of that infrastructure has to be dedicated to the town prior to my office being able to issue the first building permit. Yep.
Have they drawn down that permit yet?
They have not, because that's the 5-acre waiver that
Okay,
they didn't want to start on the infrastructure if their will serve was never gonna get issued. Which is the same issue that we were overcoming with Morel,
Mhm.
with the issuance of their 70-something building permits between November and December.
all right.
As you know, infrastructure is millions of dollars. And well, if you install natural gas, but you can never use it, it's kind of a wasted.
Has the surety for the public improvements been
It was
I think. it's been-
updated.
approved and updated? Okay,
Has now been posted.
So we have the surety.
Posted.
Yes.
Board, do you have any other further discussion on this? You understand what we're voting on?
Can we clarify that? I'm not sure. Because, are we considering a 180?
180-day extension on the condition regarding 1 year to draw down the building permits or site permit that's required as part of the final Section 1 approval. So it's just, yeah, it applies to section, excuse me, phase 1,
Chuck,
which is this.
if I can also insert the way you said that, kind of clarified the issue for me. Preliminary overall was signed by Chuck at some point, probably in
Oh.
December.
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to scratch my head when all that happened.
That's not at issue here, and you don't have authority to revoke that. As part of this, so they're still going to have preliminary overall. The question is whether or not to extend their final phase 1 approval, site plan approval. They've also got their building lots and road layout approved and presumably filed with the county clerk's office.
Do we know the CPN number that was finally approved for this site plan approval?
For final phase 1?
Yep.
Do you want to say anything? Dan, do you have anything to add? I know it's way before your
It would
time.
be 2025,
Possibly.
2023-017.
The question is, are you voting on a year or are you gonna do a shorter period?
180. 180.
Okay, so I will talk.
At the request of the applicant, correct?
Yep.
180.
Request 180 days. Let's just leave it there.
You're gonna leave it there?
Yep.
Okay.
And I spoke to Sal about that.
Yeah.
You good with that? Okay, and we'll leave it there.
Oh. Well, I wish everybody was like.
For you. You got off easy.
Thank you for.
All right, again,
and being the
And once
historian.
again, I ask, are we ready to vote? Ready.
Mark, why did you want the original CPM?
Because I'm trying to follow the intent, and I understand what Mike is saying, I'm trying to follow the intent. I believe that the intent from this planning board was not held up throughout the process. There are things that we expected were going to carry through that did not. In addition to that, I'm just looking at the dates in early 2023 where this was being discussed. I'm looking at some of the notes from this. So I think the intent wasn't carried through. So my impression of that is that I also believe that rules within the town have been modified or changed because of actions on this. And we are now treating projects differently because of actions that have happened on this site. So here we have an opportunity to review the site again, make sure that stormwater stormwater that's happening there and will continue to happen can be sufficiently mitigated. And make sure that in a situation where we've had a challenge with a developer not following the intent, there is through. So I'm trying to figure out if intent of what we planned is being carried through or not. That's why I'm asking.
Well, so
Tent.
I understand your concern. And I think the answer to your question is from the original 2022 approval, the answer is no, they didn't carry out what you intended. But either way, that's not, but subsequent to that, they came back with a whole new plan that this board has approved. The intent isn't the standard for tonight's decision, it's whether field conditions have changed significantly and to such extent that reconsideration of the site plan is warranted. So if you can translate violation of the intent into
Well, I guess
field condition changes.
I respectfully disagree with Mike's opinion that it hasn't changed since because that's my opinion. I've just seeing it all the time and having conversations on, but I don't have the exact dates.
We don't need dates, but if field conditions have changed, that's a reason we can make findings about.
I like facts and dates, so I would rather have them than I don't have them. So I can probably pull them up based on communications we have. I don't have them yet tonight.
If we denied the extension, then the final approval becomes null and void, right? Of this, of section 1.
It would. That being said. They would. The standard for final site plan approval, final phased site plan approval is, does it comply with the conditions of phase, the preliminary overall? So they would pretty much come back in with the exact same plan and.
Unless there's items missing from the intent, so we've been saying this evening. And those items could then be added to the plan prior to any approval. But I think the concern will be that the applicant would charge that the reason for needing the extension is because of the items that Mike mentioned regarding RG&E.
Yeah, so. I agree with
The
Chuck.
weather.
But again, and the standard is, are field conditions different today? Not at previous days, but today, as you're voting on the extension. If you've approved a skyscraper. A couple years ago, and because it was in the middle of nowhere and it wasn't gonna bother anybody. And then it took, there was delay in starting that skyscraper, and a bunch of single family houses, neighborhoods popped up. And they don't want a skyscraper blocking out the sun for them. That's a field condition that's changed. Obviously, that's an extreme example that's not really applicable here, but have stream courses diverted and are putting more discharge onto this property have, usually it takes the form because ground doesn't change drastically within a few months. Absent, some big changes. Usually it takes the place of conditions in the neighborhood. Did you put a bunch of single family houses right next to this factory? This previously approved factory, that's a changed field condition. But if we were gonna deny an application for extension, we'd have to have specific changes to the field conditions.
The largest change to the field condition that seems to be an indicator to me is just complaints of water issues along the tributary that then feeds into the lake. So some of that is anecdotal, some of it is seen as higher volumes of water going through. Seeing the site conditions now that have a stormwater plan that it looks, in my opinion, seems to be at capacity now without further modification. And watching what looks to be wetlands extend across the western edge of that property in the town that it was last modified. All of that gives me an indication that there's more water moving through that property than can be handled, and that's probably the largest concern. That was a massive concern when we were discussing this project. The other things that I think have changed, and again, not knowing the Tommy is tied to the clearing and other aspects of it. So I just.
Another question for you, Mike, if you wouldn't mind. There's appear to be a wet pond out there already. That's on the northernmost portion of the property. Okay. And I just want to make certain that all of their storage is, well, like I said, the wet pond appears to me to be groundwater well. That they have sufficient storage above that mean high groundwater to be able to handle all the runoff that's going to come from the property.
None of these ponds have been made yet, though.
So, correct.
That's the other thing
Yes.
So this is just
None of these ponds on these signed plans have been made. Okay. Because the ponds that are currently, and I'm gonna go to the screen room. You have three. Detention basins. You have three detention basins on this site currently. You have this one, which was originally gonna be the main pond. This was not done due to soil conditions that were discovered during excavation.
Started, not completed.
Started, not completed. Those soil conditions not to get in the weeds. We found a lot of clay. And then once you busted through that, it was lake level, okay? This is a second detention basin. That was more of a diversion swale. It is a temporary method for the site. That was as a direct result of the SWIP violations that we had. We required that to be put in. The other one is down in this lower southern corner. That is again another detention basin. That, as well as this pond, again, as a result of the SWIP violations, are receiving excess stormwater at this time because we had the SWIP engineer, as well as the developer, as approved by my office and MRB, install a diversion swale 100% around that site on that eastern boundary, so that it was not getting any of this clean water coming down that hill, which it's a steep hill, okay? So that this site would remain as dry as possible. So these are taking on a little bit of excess water that will not be incorporated into the site because those will be returned back to a natural sheet flow. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but it raises additional concerns that if you can't get to your design elevation for the bottom of your stormwater management facility, then the only way you might be able to store that amount of water is to build the berms up.
So the new plan extends the pond out. So instead of going deeper, it extended it out. That's how it created it.
But that's an approved.
That is
plan.
part of the approved signed plans of the chairman. So that pond is being reworked. It's not being left, okay? But it is also being extended out this way. As opposed to how it currently is. Pretty much just that. Okay. Your standard oval. It does have a 4-bay in it, but it's a shallow 4-bay. I mean, it's basically turned into a low line type shape. You go back to the approved plans. This is that.
Mike, do you know if we've had any complaints of runoff from them, from anybody on downstream?
Can you give me a date?
That's when we stopped building, from when we stopped to now.
From when? No, we have not received that.
I talked to other people down there, they had. No.
And I'll be honest, and remember, this isn't a stream. I want to make that very clear to you. This is an open drainage ditch as defined by Army Corps and DEC. The stream starts at this blue line. That's actually incorrect. It goes, oh no, that is correct. It cuts through there. That's the house. That stream has, it's probably 6-7 foot tall banks. It's probably 10 to 15 feet wide. If that overflows, I got a lot more problems on the east side. I'll have Poplar Beach, Sandy Beach, everything about 4 feet underwater, and I'm more concerned with their non-compliant flood structures. Okay. So it's a lot of water in order to get up there.
Oh, yeah, but that ditch is compromised.
It is, and that's where there's the regulatory.
I was on that little culvert crossing, looking to the north, and there's all kinds of debris and trees and everything into that. And, you know.
And that's the regulatory nightmare, and the problem is as much as my team, Kevin Aldaney's team, would like to fix this issue, we run into the other issue, and I'm not gonna point fingers at boards that passed projects, but houses were built on Sandy Beach that narrowed that stream from a 12-15 foot wide to it is a 5 foot wide discharge that is 4 feet deep. That's what I'm concerned about.
You mean with the railroad, well, not the railroad, the ties and then the cross ties and the.
So, and that's nothing we can do. We can't change those banks. We can't do anything because it's private property and DEC regs won't allow us to. So.
When creek beds are boundary lines, whose responsibility is it to keep them clean?
So so you actually cannot clean them. You can remove items, but as far as a dredge, those would need to go through a DEC and or Army Corps approval.
Up there or down on Sandy Beach?
Anyway.
Both. It's a blue line down in Sandy Beach.
Blue line,
Oh.
so it had.
So that's when you get in the weeds as far as red tape, right? You also would have permits issued from my office, not only from floodplain, but also stormwater management aspect. So you're looking at 4 agencies upwards elevation improvements.
Is there a current topo of this property?
Yeah. Yeah, Kim, if you wanna turn on the 1 foot contours.
Cause then I was 364, so it's slightly higher, is this elevation of this whole property coming up to that 364 roadside? Or is it still gonna swell down in?
I'd have
How
to
it
look
is.
at the two plans.
I looked at it, it looks like it's gonna be a straight shot.
Straight shot.
Yeah, by looking at the
Oh,
contours on the site,
It's down.
look at the site plan, you
Leach
can read it.
maps.
Okay.
There might be a filter out,
Yep. You just gotta. turn
which
on
is
the
one thing we
extent.
looked at.
Yeah, that's what those.
Originally had a dip.
Yeah, originally, that's what we.
So you really can't see it, but between here and here, there's 5 lines, each line is a 1 foot contour, there's a 5 foot elevation difference over the site. This is our biggest problem, and that's why we installed that divergence well, completely encompassing the eastern side of that property. There are a lot of. It's a steep property, I'll leave it at that.
The backside of the east, the far east side of this.
Yep.
And. I don't want to change this or anything, but the other side by the road, that's gonna be a straight shot. I think when I saw the contours. They're basically gonna not put that dip in there.
Say that one more time, I apologize.
The road that they're
Yep.
building here is gonna be almost road height.
Correct.
Like the entire way there, without that dip is going away.
Yep. And that was this part with, again, because of the SWIP violations, the increased stormwater counts that were done by Kevin Mulvaney post approvals. We came in with those higher numbers. We said, hey, okay, we didn't have the exact, Kevin said, hey, let's up this a little bit. The board addressed those comments and that culvert was increased.
Yeah, exactly.
When we look at extensions, what I usually look for is to make sure that there's not been any changes to code. Or to our specifications, design standards. Has anything changed since this was approved?
Both of us.
I don't think anything's changed on code.
No, I ask Mike.
But I think it would be more, or, design standards, specifications.
Design standards have been changed, but those are all addressed within whenever we do a site design criteria update. If the project has not started development, they will need to be incorporated.
It applies to this.
Yeah, and that's not in relation to. We're not making major changes when we do that with the site design. We're talking different hydrant models and pipe specs and. Stuff that ultimately isn't, it's in your details, but it's
Yep,
not a
yep.
significant change.
Okay.
of the plans.
So there's no standards changes.
No.
Can a extension be conditioned upon anything being added to the plan?
No,
No?
well. Sure,
We grant the extension conditional upon
give me an example.
something, pipes be made bigger, stormwater being controlled in a different way. Okay,
Because, and I'll tell you why, is because in order to require a change in your site plan. You would have to find that field conditions on or around the subject property have changed to such an extent that reconsideration of the site plan is warranted. And so it's not, should we have required bigger pipes, it's as the field conditions changes. Is there, did a dam burst at the top of the site, so more water is flowing?
something's built upstream, but.
Yes.
It's more clear. My last question is, so phase one is feat complete. You can't change it. We either extend it or we don't extend it. We will be doing final reviews for sections 2 through, was there 6 sections in this? I think 6, 7, 8 sections.
Oh, yeah.
I think if there are some concerns and we want to put more belts and suspenders on some of these approvals, with those approvals, that would be the time to do it. I'm not sure we can do it on this one, but I feel confident that what's being done is being done.
Yeah, what I would preface that with is remember that stormwater management facility that was designed with these plan set. This plan set was designed for phase 1 and phase 2 total build out. Okay, so keep that in mind that that's what that was designed.
And when they did their developed conditions for their runoff calculations, is it consistent with what's been cleared now?
I'd have to go back and look.
You know what I'm talking- you know what I'm
I
talking
do,
about,
you're,
right?
it's, to go back to 24 is,
Well, but that would be a condition that would change that I can think of from
I'd have to-
engineering designs.
yeah, but I'd have to read it because what does DEC consider pre-development?
No. So you have your pre-development
Yeah.
conditions wooded.
Correct.
And then you have your post-development.
Correct.
Conditions, you have so much for wooded, so much for single family residential.
Yeah, but
Designation.
so these calculations were part of the planning board's final site plan.
Right, so here's the point. If they went and cleared more land than they originally calculated the post-development runoff, that is a change.
But they haven't cleared, have they? Since
Not
since
since
this
we
board
approved
granted
it.
the most recent approval,
Oh, okay.
no clearing has
and
taken place.
I think where you're going
Alright.
to, not to cut you off, but
Yeah,
that original violation that they expanded upon the limits of disturbance, that was in relation to the grading permit, not they're still within the boundaries of the original
Sure.
limits of disturbance.
It's my own.
Yep.
no, we had to sort of circle around on that for all of us to wrap our heads around it, I think.
Yeah, so MRB reviewed it after the trees were cleared and everything else like.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing that I've learned
Mhm.
that if ECB, anybody has recommendations that is important to this board, it should be a condition of approval. And I've heard Chris say it numerous times.
So
I'll go
absolutely.
one step further, and if there is not a recommendation from a certain agency that you feel is worthwhile and warranted, you should look and ask for those. In response to Canada Lake Watershed Association, any of those that.
And you can condition it on applicant shall satisfy any comments Kevin Mulvaney makes between now and planning board chair signature. Kevin says, I don't care, it's fine with me. Well, then they don't have to satisfy any comments. If Kevin sits down and writes 20 conditions, well, they gotta do that before Chuck puts his pen on paper.
So for any project within the Canandaigua Lake watershed, shouldn't they automatically be referred to?
They do. They do.
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
it's
Okay.
part
Yeah.
of the pre.
No, Kevin gets them. We
But
don't.
Kevin's practical and realizes for the most part, not to speak from single family, he's not gonna get all worked up about a single family residence that's not, a serious
Fix his
impact.
battles.
He picks his battles.
Yeah, just
Just, I think this will be my last.
I think you're probably wrong about that, but.
For this topic tonight.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
all right. I'm
Do you
gonna.
have Do you have what you need to see that phase one is a successful implementation based on the goals of the community and the ability of this developer to carry out? You have that information, you have
Would you have to make
everything.
that the last question? Are you saying in reference to the comprehensive plan of the town?
I'm saying in reference to the comp plan, I'm saying in reference specifically to these plans, because we've had the conversation more than once about that wasn't on.
I have and I'm gonna choose these words very carefully. I have the ammunition to conduct enforcement measures as they are prescribed by this town planning.
Period. I think that's the end of your sentence.
No, it is.
And I'll tell you what.
We need to get that
But the answer to your question is your question needs to be directed back at you. This board needed to make those determinations when it granted final phase one site plan approval. And it did.
This board member has been disagreeing with that along the way, but.
But the other board members agreed, and that's the
Thank you
rule.
for doing everything you possibly could to correct the issues that have come up. So I know it's been a tremendous amount of work.
My team enforces every single code 100% of the time, all the time, every time.
Thank you for, thank you for.
With that,
That's a
I think that's the last question.
That's it. I'm gonna call the question. I need a motion, one way or the other on this particular resolution.
I think it's gonna be Amanda and Bob with my guess.
I'll make that motion to approve this 180-day extension at CPN 2025-153 at 3535 State Road 364 for a 180-day suspension. Or extension. Wow, that's
All right, if we get start getting to the suspensions.
Yeah,
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion, second, further discussion. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'm recording the vote as 3 in favor, 1 nay, and 1 abstention. Okay. Okay, let's go to the
The
minutes.
extension is great.
The minutes of the meeting from January 13th. Karine sent them out. Hopefully you had a chance to read them.
Yep.
Very good job as usual. Give me a motion.
So
What the
moved
heck is
to
that?
approve.
Got a motion, second,
Second.
for discussion. If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Yeah, we have no money to give away. Okay, rules and procedures. We deferred those from the last meeting and asked if anybody had any corrections or additions to send them to Kristen. I think she got one response, which was fine. Other than I know Amanda stated that she was fine the way they were. Thank you for that. And I had a couple suggestions. How's the board feel?
Yeah, I saw the red line.
Yep.
I knew it was pretty easy.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that as far as staff's concerned, I know you're talking about some changes on when applications come in, when they have to be in, how they'll be reviewed, that there's no conflict with what's proposed here.
No, I think as long as we refer back to the calendar for the submission deadline, fine, because it's not as
Just
cut and dry
changed.
as it was before. It's not as easy as the first business day.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So with that being said, does someone want to make a motion to adopt the rules of procedure as amended?
So move.
Can I get a motion?
Second.
Second for discussion? Not all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, contact information. I sent names, addresses, social security numbers, everything out to everyone.
You wouldn't change on mine.
You,
Still waiting for ATM.
Amanda had asked that we make sure we include her town email address. That is in
Oh,
there.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
My town email was on there.
So they were included.
They figured out.
Jay, I got you everything correct as far as your information?
Yes. My town email, said probably send that this week,
Hope so.
probably maybe,
I hope so.
whenever I have.
So we'll add that when we get it. Speaking of town email, is everybody on board with the .org?
Yep, now, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
The only thing, if I want to revise the minutes, I don't know, are we read only on Word?
We can't even get words.
Can you?
I
get through
got the
town?
draft from Karine of the minutes. And I brought them up one word on my town computer.
Okay, that's a review. That's what I'm doing right now.
I talked to Tyler about that today, and I think he will
There should
take
be a-
care of that for you.
Do you need a special license for each computer, or do you have
You should
town
have
license.
to edit, just based on.
Yeah, there should be a button at the top when it comes through that says enable editing. You should be able to edit that one.
mine says I can't.
Accessory
I
mode.
think Tyler's gonna.
Okay.
Is gonna fix that? Might just be me.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as we can get that resolved, I'm cool. Everybody else okay?
You should be.
Chuck, one thing before you adjourn, if I can. Looking at Mark, putting it back on you. We're having a lot of surety releases come through as we're trying to, not gonna lie to you, clean up the books, cause I've got sureties from 2010 that we're trying to clear out. That have been forgotten about. Is there any preference on this board for how many surety releases you do in a night? Cause right now we have 17 is the newest count
Well,
that I just submitted today to clerk's office.
I love that this board is very thorough and addresses each and every detail. On those, maybe just put them all under one, make one motion to release. You can all get it in advance.
So, and just to add to that, so more than a year.
The old ones.
More than a year ago, the advice of our council stated that all we are really approving is that you are stating you have done your job.
Yep.
That's the interpretation that I was given.
Sit there and
And
look.
as such, I only check to see that it looks like your signature. I look at the amount, I say, wow, that's.
Changes by the 10th one, so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're only verifying that you're stating that you did your job. And that the team, everybody that signed it.
I mean,
there's more than one signature, yeah.
on Sunset Ridge, when they have LOC releases on Pierce Brook, should this board take 5 minutes and walk through it? Yes, I think you should. But on the little ones and on ones that the project's completed that are post-dated, just do them all in one motion, is how I would recommend.
They go back to 2010.
I do, but I wanna be clear, on the bigger projects that are active and ongoing,
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes, I think that makes sense.
I do still.
To answer your
Mike,
question,
look
Murphy,
Yes, I
I think that there's ENS control sureties, you can bundle them all
You do them all.
together.
Okay.
We can do them.
The
What
following
if they're
resolutions
Pierce
are
Brook,
released.
bigger projects?
Big checks.
Well, and you guys looked at
Sequential.
the bundled ones, and if you think one should be pulled out, tell
Yeah.
Kristen.
How about this, just for my peace of mind and to add on the record, anything that is what we call a large surety, which is that $20,000 threshold, that's by MRB. We set those aside. Anything less is bundled up.
Yep.
And then if you feel that it needs to be pulled out, or if there's something weird that I'm doing, we'll pull it out. Sound fair?
That's fair.
Do we need that?
If you can.
Bring it on next meeting, because that's my next thing is we have a.
Do we need that in the rules?
She might.
Because that's normally all I'm
I
ever
don't
doing.
See, I don't think we're in the same thing.
Trying to give you a last barrier of help.
Speaking of next meeting, okay, order's court.
Okay, order.
Next meeting isn't too bad as far as an agenda. Even better is right now the 24th, unless something gets pushed back. Do we want to get into projects a little bit on the 24th? I was thinking.
Oh, that'd be a great time to do it.
He's gone.
Right, you're not here.
You're not gonna be here.
They are looking for a vote on the 24th, and at this point, I don't know if there's reason not to do that, but
The cell,
yeah, just FYI. If anybody wanted changes made, they should, send them to me, I'll
look at it really.
Which project?
The cell.
Cell tower.
Cell tower.
Do you get any sense that there will be community resistance to the new location?
I think there's community resistance to a cell tower in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
That being said, I think, they realized this is a lot better than anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think we've done more than work.
you've seen the change in attitude on I mean, there was 50 of them, and they were, gonna burn everybody
With a
the
lawyer.
stake
With their
a
lawyer.
year ago, and it's gradually, you guys kept moving the tower this way, and it kept,
Throw them down.
so I don't know, Tim, but at last.
Well, I hope there's a realization that it's a pretty good compromise.
Yep.
For everybody.
And this board, held Verizon to task and Verizon, allowed itself to be held to task and moved this, kept agreeing, it wasn't a big fight. They just said, oh, we'll come back in 3 months.
What is interesting is that it became the personal interests of new property. But
Yeah.
otherwise, before he owned farmland to the north, he
Yeah.
wasn't responding. So, but some of the struggles of developers have.
It's true.
Yeah, we identified that in the very beginning, about that lease was being sold, that it might be a problem. So, and it was, it became a problem.
Well, Tim, a lot of
Then they
planning
moved
boards
another lot.
put that on the developer. Well, make sure before we'll even consider it, you get letters from all of your neighbors. Sometimes you can't. Or, whatever. Get an agreement from your neighbor that, you can do such and such on his property. Sometimes that doesn't work.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? Keep an eye on training.
What did the planning federation training I need to know some.
Oh, for the Cooperstown.
For Cooperstown, so I can.
Jay was thinking about it.
I got a planned trip down to West Virginia that week.
You do. Well, then there's another, at least one
There's
opening.
opening. Tim
Two
wants it.
openings, one CBA.
Tim
one-
wants it.
I don't think CBA is gonna take it, so
So there'd be two.
there might. I don't have a confirmation from ZBA yet, but nobody seems to really be.
Yeah, if CBA.
I said it was in April.
Tim and I were there last year. You three, any of you three want to go to Percent?
When is it again? Do you remember?
April 19th to 21st.
I can't do that. 20th is the anniversary.
Romantic getaway to Cooperstown.
13
I'll be
years.
in Dover.
Yeah, yeah.
13 years or something.
All right,
Man.
we'll let you know, Dan.
It is 13, I was right. Okay.
Mine too.
Yeah, not
2012.
together, but not,
All right, gang.
Oh.
okay. Motion to adjourn
Amanda.
at 7:36 PM.
Second.
Thank you. Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey.